Do you have anything showing that I'm waiting to go live? Like anything on your screen that says we're
Broadcast
live?
is live.
Got it.
8 seconds, 9.
Okay, got it. But that's all. It doesn't say live or scheduled or anything like that.
No, it says live and there's a countdown, like it's counting the seconds. So I think we're live.
Funny because it's not saying it on mine. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Hump Day. Just in case we are live. Now we are. We have been live for the last 38 seconds. StreamYard took a while to tell me. So you got to see what I look like when I'm staring at the sign going, are we ready to go live? Happy Hump Day, everybody. It has been a little bit of technology issue here. So Anne's mouse is no longer working. So she's working on a trackpad. And StreamYard decided to get a little fluky on me today. But I hope you're not having Wednesday technology challenges. I am so excited, Anne, that you're here. Thanks so much for coming on. We've talked a couple of times in campfires, and I'm really excited about the approach you take around marketing, and I'm very excited to talk about it. So let me introduce you here. A lot of our campfire people know who you are, but let's get everybody else introduced. And while we're at it, invite you to campfires, people. They are a lot of fun. You get to know a lot of very cool people and make some amazing connections. Anne Flamant is the mind behind Dare and Defy. It's a marketing strategy agency, and she offers strategic consulting and marketing services to companies that want to get away from the vanity metrics. We all know, we look at those likes, we look at those hearts, we look at all those things that we think mean something, but they really are vanity metrics. So she facilitates the process of refocusing on how you can really better connect with your buyers, with your clients, with your customers by bringing value and building a community, totally redefining what success means. So underneath all that, she's a marketing strategist with 15 years, more than 15 years of experience in startups and in large corporations, both in Europe and the US. And she's an expert at distilling what makes a business unique so that she can really implement a more kind of tailored messaging strategy focused on bringing value to your clients, both ethically, not both, but ethically, purposefully, and consciously. And a big part of why I really wanted to have Anne join our group and was so grateful that she did is this tailored strategy process. So welcome, Anne. I'm so glad to have you here and would really love for you to tell us a little bit about how you came up with this more tailored approach.
Hi, Pam. Hi, everybody in the campfire. So I'm super happy, first off, to be here. And I'm super excited about this chat because I love the community. I've met some great people through the community, and Pam is a gem of a human. So I'm super happy. And tailored strategy. So today we live in a world where anybody can do anything. Literally, you can learn anything online. But you have all of those courses that have some cookie cutter solutions. So it's like, I've done it and I'm going to show you how I did it. The problem is those cookie cutter kind of approach and solutions, methods, whatever you want to call it, it worked in a certain set of circumstances. So there's like the audience that the person had to start with. There's the timing of when they did it. There's the way they phrased things. There's so many different things, right? The issue with those is that if you don't have the same circumstances and the same parameters you're working with, you usually have maybe 1 to 5% of the people who registered for those approaches that actually it works for them. Then there's that maybe 20, 25% where there's, okay, somewhat, there's some stuff that were good and that kind of worked for me. And the rest is completely out. And we're talking about over 30% of the
That makes so much sense to me when I think about the stuff that I look at online and try to do it. The minute you hit that first little deviation in what you need, you're stuck. There's no way to really get through it.
Yeah, and if you haven't done it many, many times in different industries, in different companies, in different locations, then usually the people who are facilitating, they don't have the answer to your question because they know how it works for them with those circumstances, but they don't have experience applying it to different circumstances. So they try kind of like force feed you that approach, being like, but you must not be trying it hard enough.
Yes, that's exactly right. If you did the work, this would work for you. If you did it exactly like I tell you, and especially when we're starting out, we don't know when to challenge those statements and directives to say, no, this really is different, or when we need to say, oh, okay, you're right, I'm wrong, and I need to do it this way. So having a guide really helps with that. And I know I've certainly gone down that road a lot of times. So when you say human-centric marketing, I love that term, and I'm making up what it means to me. But what does it mean to you and your clients?
So human-centric is the problem that we have today is that we push what we have to say. We push what we're doing. We're selling all the time. And we rarely think for like a second, stop and think, okay, this is what I want to create and that's fantastic. But who am I talking to and what do they actually need? And sometimes it's done, like I've seen it done many, many times. Like people always talk about their target market, about their niche, about their audience.
Avatar, their ideal client, all those things. Yep.
But they spend only a fraction of the time, like maybe like a few hours to define those avatars. And then they just leave it and they go, okay, this is the assumption that we're making and we're going to go with that. And they don't revisit. Human-centric is really putting the human back into everything and not just the client, even though the client is the main and most important aspect of your mix, of your marketing mix and of your strategy, because you can have the best design, you can have the best copy, you can have a product that rocks. If it doesn't solve the issue of the people that you're targeting, and if you're targeting the wrong people, everything falls flat.
So what is it that we do? Because I know I have this problem. So I know like kind of what I have and what I do is great for people. And I think I've said everything in their words because forever I've been taking down the pain points. Like I know what they're struggling with. I know how what I can do can fix it. But there still feels like there's a difference between that and really stepping into that client's shoes. And like when we're the expert on something, how do you step into the mind of a client that needs what you're offering when you're so used to knowing what you offer? You know what I mean?
So it's very difficult actually for entrepreneur to do it. And I'm going to tell you, I've been in marketing for almost 20 years now, and I still can't market for myself.
Isn't that something? And you're fully aware of this issue and you still...
You just can't, like, you don't have the perspective because it's your baby, it's your creation. You like nose in the wheel. Like you don't have that step back of like being able to see, okay. And at the same time, there's like lots of people who have made it their job to do like behavioral science. Like I work a lot with behavioral science. I've been working with people and their behavior for 20 years. And it's like, okay, let's make, and people think of marketing as like advertising or branding or beautiful designs or copy. But to me, marketing is really a science. It's a social science. And you have to take your marketing as an experiment. Like in chemistry, you make an informed, educated guess, an hypothesis. I never know how to...
Hypothesis, yep.
Hypothesis. And from this hypothesis, you're going to create the experiment, you're going to put it out there, and maybe it's going to work, maybe it's not going to work, maybe it's going to somewhat work. But what's great is that even if you get it wrong, you get to learn from it. And with marketing, and that's why I focused on marketing before, because I get bored very easily. I need things that are in ever evolution. And marketing is that. Like what I was doing 20 years ago, completely different from what I'm doing today. The core is very similar in terms of like the strategy and looking at like the framework, but the tools, the way people consume, like even look last year, we didn't have Clubhouse. People were consuming podcasts. Now instead of using podcasts, they go on Clubhouse. So people's behavior are constantly changing. And it's really like you can get into the head of people by talking to people. And that's one of the things that people don't do. I remember when I first got into entrepreneurship 6 years ago now, the first advice I got from a seasoned entrepreneur is like, don't do anything until you talk to 100 people. about what you're doing and see what they do. And at the time, I was like, this is impossible. I will never be able to talk to 100 people. And it freaked me out. And in the end, 6 years later, I've talked to probably 5,000 people, and I'm still learning and I'm still evolving in what I do. Because we change as human beings, our audiences change, the way we want to work change, and it's a constant self-discovery mission. It's like an adventure and a journey.
Which makes it a lot more interesting to you as a scientist, really. And that is incredible. I never really thought about that. I do you agree now in retrospect that every entrepreneur should talk to 100 people before really pinning down what it is they're going to offer?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
because what you think will resonate might sound completely off and fall into deaf ears. And instead of like spending time and money in developing like time, especially time, because time for entrepreneurs
Yep.
is golden, but even money, like to do a website, to get into content marketing, into developing blog posts, into portraying yourself and projecting yourself into podcasts, doing PRs, writing a book. If what you offer is not differentiated enough from the competition, why would people choose you? And then if you haven't figured out, and if you don't know whether or not it's going to work, your ID, you need to validate it. Like it's like a startup ID.
Mhm.
What do? You go to a lean business Canva, and in 1 hour, you decide whether or not it's worth taking more time to work on a project. So you do a lean business Canva, and it's like a business plan in one page that you do in less than an hour. And
Yeah.
that's for your company, whether you service based, whether you're doing coaching or mindfulness, whatever you sell, you need to validate like when I'm presenting, what are people hearing and what's their reaction to what they are hearing? Are they
Yeah.
actually pay money? Because it sounds great and I'm sure I'm doing a great job, but are people actually going to pay me money to do that job?
That's really a good point. And one of the things I remember, hearing from somebody who was doing some group coaching with me at some point said, don't just go out and ask people, hey, would this resonate with you? Because everybody will say yes. And then you'll go out and sell it and nobody will pay for it. It's a very different question than, oops, sorry about that. There's my happy puppies. Then does this, is this something you would buy is very different than please click here to buy. And how do you test stuff ahead of actually putting a price tag on it and putting it out there? Can you really, or do you really not know the results of the experiment until you just drop it out there and see what happens?
Until you talk to people, you don't know how they're going to react. And a lot of the thing, if you want to maximize your chances of success, you need to be extremely confident in yourself. Your self-trust and your self-confidence needs to be off the roof, because and I keep on saying it, but if I ever put my hands on the person who invented the fake it until you make it.
Because people can see right through that.
I have a few words for that person.
People can see right through it, though.
People won't be able to pinpoint. If you ask them, like, why won't you buy from me? They won't be able to tell you what it is. But if they feel that there's some discrepancy, if they feel that you're not 100% confident into what you're doing, they're not going to buy.
Yeah, that is really, really interesting, because then you come into the whole conversation of fake it till you make it versus imposter syndrome, which is the other really bad extreme. So like fake it till you make it is thinking, I don't really know as much as I need to know, but I'm going to pretend I do. That's not great, because people can see through it even though they can't put their finger on it. I think that's what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, when you really do know your stuff, imposter syndrome will be the killer from the other end.
It always is. And let's play together.
Okay, I'm in.
Okay. So if I were to ask you, if there was absolutely no obstacles, if you had full confidence that whatever you undertake, you will achieve, what would you be doing? What would you be creating right now?
Truthfully, what I'm creating.
Okay, so you're a very confident person.
I'm very lucky. Yeah, very lucky.
Like, I would write a book. I would be a TEDx speaker. I would be on stages. I would be like doing things. And that's the thing. think about all of those things that you think that you cannot do because of your self-confidence and because of the doubts that you have in yourself.
Okay.
So that's all of these opportunities that if you have not done the work as an entrepreneur and as a person on your foundation, what is it that you're not creating? And that is probably your, I call it the treasure. I have like very vivid pictures, and I'm doing a meditation with my clients actually, because mindfulness is of the essence in what I do. And I help them tap into their creativity. And I have this meditation where we get acquainted with the dragon. And the dragon is your reptilian mind. It's the reptilian part of your brain.
I know him or her well.
Exactly. But most entrepreneurs, they don't, especially when you started out.
Yep, true.
So you don't know that it's like a little voice in the back of your head telling you, no, you can't do this. No, don't take that risk. No, you need to be safe. So it's really like taming that dragon and getting acquainted with him and working with the dragon so that the treasure that he protects, which is your link to your creativity, to your gift, to your treasure, can come forward. And you can access and tap into this and create what you would want to create, and not just be one day, but be like, okay, why haven't I started now? What's stopping me?
I love that. So again, all of these conversations I'm having, it's fascinating for me, these lives. I'm really enjoying them. Every single one has an element of mindset. And this, again, you're basically saying in order to be creative enough to get yourself inside your client's head, to start thinking about things differently, to develop a marketing strategy that works, you do have to get your own mindset straight. Mm-hmm. And that's part of what you help your clients do, I'm guessing.
That's a big part. And I remember Giovanni Morsico from Archangel saying, tell them on what they want and give them what they need.
Give them what they need. That's so true.
And that's exactly
what they think they want and give them what they need. Yeah. And that's exactly right. It sounds so brutal, but it's truth. It's like, I'll do whatever I can to get you in here because I know what I have is going to help you. I know you're going to get every bit of value out of it that you should, kind of thing, once you really have your thing nailed. That's really, really cool. Yeah. Oh, I like that so much. So one of the things we talked about on a campfire that I'm fascinated to know a little bit more about is you're thinking about a very different kind of book club.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
It all came from the idea of like self-development, because I know that when I first started as an entrepreneur, I had done mostly no self-work on myself, except going through therapy and working through deeper issues and traumas. But when I first became an entrepreneur, I was like, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm not going to pretend I know what I'm doing. I'm going to work and I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to work hard to do it. And what I learned through years of experience of like connecting with people, talking with other entrepreneurs, teaching entrepreneurs how to market themselves, and also through my own journey, is that the foundation and your personal development is what is going to propel you in your marketing. It's the way you're going to project yourself to your client. It's the way you're going to show up. It's the thing that you create. It's the differentiation and how comfortable you are with being 100% authentically yourself and not trying to pretend to be something that you think people expect of you.
That's so true.
And so it came with this idea of being a lifelong learner. Like, I'm not going to show you, but there's like 2 feet tall stacks of book on my coffee table because the shelves are completely full, and I'm a lifelong learner. I love losing myself in a good book. I love learning. I'm always on the lookout for the next thing to develop, the next thing to get me to be a better human, a better business owner, a better person, a better friend, a better anything. Mm-hmm. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to share that journey with other people who want to not only just read a book and like put it back on the shelf and kind of remember a couple of things, but actually
what happens
and embody the teaching and integrate the teachings into your life, so that instead of just reading that book and forgetting about it, you actually provided transformation and change through reading that book.
I love it. Have you already picked what your first book's going to be yet?
So I'm waiting to see who signs up for the book club. So the book club is going live in a couple of weeks. And I have already a few people who are interested. So I'm going to put it out there. I was thinking about the Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill.
Yep.
Because it's a book full of exercises and really about mindset, faith, and hope in business and applied to business. So
will you do me a favor, and when you do launch it, go ahead and let us know in here, because I'm sure there's some people who might like to join.
Yeah.
And that's a book interesting. I've read like other people's books about that book, but I have found when I go to read that book, it's hard to plow through. It's a tough read, but it's gold it's just got gold all over it. And one of these days I'm going to have to bite the bullet. So maybe when the book club comes, I may choose to make this the time I bite the bullet. Because if I got some other people to do it with, it'll be a little bit less lonely.
So that's the thing, like because I'm reading through the book, I'm preparing checklists so that people can have like a tracker so that they can track their progress and if they're actually doing the exercise and see the consistency and journal on their own results based on what they experience with every chapter of the book. And there's going to be visual cues, and I'm trying to make it a neurodiverse experience. Cool. So for people with ADHD, people who are more listening learner compared to like writing learners. Visual learners. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
How cool. And you've got the behavioral science background to do that. So definitely drop something in here, because I know I'm very interested. Do you know what you're going to call the book club yet?
I've been having a couple of things, because the book club is also going to be the launchpad for community, where I'm going to share daily digests. So I'm thinking around, and I was thinking business, marketing, life, and other shenanigans.
I like that. Business, marketing, life, and other shenanigans. That's fantastic. Well, I can't wait to see when you post about it, because that's amazing. So one of the things I love to do, thank you again so much for taking the time out of your busy day to be here with us, because there's just so much in thinking about what you've said. I find myself starting to dart off and think about my clients and how they are seeing things. Like I've made notes on some things I want to think more about. What is one thing that any of us could do, like right away or tomorrow, to really kind of reset our heads around our marketing in our businesses?
I would say always ask yourself, whenever, like if you want to do an audit of your offering right now, or if you plan on launching something new, think about it as what is keeping the people who are going to buy this up at night. And how does my product solve it? How does my offering solve it? So that's the first thing. And then answer this other question. Why should people go with your offering compared to
me? Yep. Got it.
And if you can answer very clearly and concisely in one sentence both of those, then you do something.
You've given me excellent homework. You've given us all excellent homework, but that's fantastic. I know when this gets indexed, Wendy takes all of these and indexes them and puts like chapters on them so people could know where to look. This is gold right here at 23 minutes, because I'm actually getting ready to do a new launch here in about 2 months. And I'm going to go through now and ask those exact same questions as I'm working through the materials for it and for the launch. So that is huge. Thank you so much for helping us with that, and for being such a regular participant in the campfires. I think we all are getting a lot out of those, and I just appreciate all the, as Sophia said yesterday, the synchronicities that happen. So, and then as a reminder from yesterday, spend your time on the one thing today. Although this is the one thing for you today, it's the one thing for me today. So I feel good that I've done it
this morning. I posted on that. I commented on the post.
Oh, good. I'll have to go back and check it out. That's fantastic. I love it.
You know what? I love this community, and I love you so much. Like, Pam, this is fantastic what you're doing and bringing people together. And I love making new connections and having, like, being of service. And one of my thing today is, how can I be of service? So I am of service of showing up here and sharing a couple of things, but I also would like to extend it to the group. Whoever wants 30 minutes of like picking my brain.
Oh my gosh.
Reach out to me and I'll send you a link to my calendar, or I'll post a link in the comments of the post. And you can just contact me and book 30 minutes with me and come and pick my brain.
That is so generous. Anne, thank you so much. I will, I'll actually note that in the comments. I'm having a little trouble with StreamYard. I'm not sure that all my comments are going to all the places that I'm posting, but I'll circle through all 5 places and make sure people know that. Thank you so much. That's so generous.
Of course.
Awesome. Well, everybody, you don't get an offer like that every Wednesday. So have a great rest of your hump day, and we will see you very soon in the Profit Concierge Campground group. Thanks so much, Anne.
Thank you, Pam.
Take care, everybody.